We're live. Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Hello again.
Hey guys.
Hey everyone.
Welcome back to the Fungal Folks, and indeed, welcome back to our campaign following the Rapid Riders. Introduce yourselves for us, Rapid Riders. We'll go in the same order as last time. Doran, introduce us to Halite.
Hello, I am Doran. I am playing Halite. He is an 8-foot tall behemoth of the man. He is a Rune Knight fighter. He's also got 1 level in Barbarian, so 4 levels in Rune Knight, 1 level in Barbarian.
Nice. Ben, tell us about Zeke.
I'm Ben. I'm basically the opposite of Halite. I'm 3-foot tall gnome, dwarf, halfling. Whatever combination that I want to be. I am very small, very angry. I like a lot of alcohol because I am a Way of the Drunken Master, not because of the technique, just because I am actually inebriated most of the time.
Okay. Phil, introduce us to Dewey.
Hey, I am Phil. I'm playing Dunstan Dewey Fairfoot, part halfling, part dew elf. All time, he's the ranger of the party. He's a swarm lord, but rather than the usual gribbly little bugs, it's of course wholesome, adorable herbs, because that's just how he rolls. It's Disney or bust, yeah.
And
Almost.
Sarah, introduce us to Taxes.
So I'm Sarah, I'm playing Taxes, the human of the party, also the rogue of the party. I'm just a smart person in this game, for a change.
Smart cookie.
Nice. Neri, introduce us to Badger.
Hello, I'm Neri. Badger is, it's a puka, and also a druid of Circle of Wildfire.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nice. Puka being a custom race of our world, a fey being, capricious and trickster-like, but also lovable. Depends on the day.
Very lovable, depending on the day. Yeah, yeah. Right now, I'm not very lovable. But that's okay.
And Bree, please introduce us to Diana.
Yes, I am Diana, and I am a sun elf, which is one of our homebrew elves in our world, and I'm a bard, the talky one. What is it called again? I keep forgetting what it is.
College of Eloquence.
That one. One of these
College.
days, I will
Fantastic.
embody the eloquence of my bard, and I will be able to make the words speak out my mouth.
Well.
I don't know. Yeah.
That make the words do good.
Speaking of make the words do good, let me introduce you back to where we last left the Rapid Riders, as they were rocking out in a battle of the bands with Osasris, the original, and some say the best, battling bards beneath the city of Benilicia. But they were in the middle of this battle of the bands when the Empire's forces struck, seemingly led to the location by superfan Horace, a halfling. Fighting hard to save the crowd members, a retreat was forced by Osasris, demanding the Rapid Riders to find the Harriers in Harling's Rest and keep the rebellion alive. We rejoin them now on their namesake, a hovering arcane craft as it rockets across the River Brenner. On the craft, we have Halite steering as he commands he must. And to be honest, it's the only way that he balances the weight enough that the whole thing doesn't go tipping in one direction if he's in the middle. Sat on his lap is Splitlick, the rebel roadie, who was rushed, picked up initially against his will until he realized it was a better idea to get himself out of there as well. You are rocketing past. It is perhaps beginning to crest dawn. You can see is behind you as you rocket roughly sort of southwest along the River Brenner, heading roughly west of Benilicia. You are having water sprayed in your face. Currently, there is the odd passing like little trader barge, but you are moving at such speed that it's difficult to take anything in, with the water whipping into your eyes as well. This is where we join our party. going hell for leather up for River Brenner.
I think this is wrong. We shouldn't be leaving like this. The crowd need us.
Yeah, but the crowd needs us to like
Live.
be able to keep doing things. So
The crowd have been infiltrated, as it were.
What would have happened? Would he have got caught, or would he wouldn't have turned on us? I mean, what?
Depends what they were offering
You wouldn't have done it
or
willingly.
threatening.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, all right. Well, we keep over the plan. We have to try and find these Harriers then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think
Yeah.
Zebi mentioned something about a warehouse where he was storing all of the Empire's gear that he's been stealing, and that we've been stealing. Should we check that out first? Just in case the Empire's taken it back, or maybe we set it on fire, or get what we need?
Yes. But they might almost definitely know about it already.
Yeah.
But we can do
But
a
does the whole-
drive-by.
Does the whole crowd know about it?
Splitlick looks up to you from inside your lap
Oh, yeah.
and makes the hand signals.
Have one of those.
It's difficult. You still haven't learned it properly, but you get the gist of probably gone already.
I nod.
As you look up from him, you can see a fork in the river ahead as the river yacht, which you know heads up almost directly west towards the virtues of Osnan, a towering mountain range at the bottom of which sits Harling's Rest, the town in which you are headed.
Gonna go home.
We should probably keep an eye out for somewhere nearby. Do we want to take it right up to where Harling's Rest is, or should we try and find somewhere?
No.
Well, this
We-
bad
we-
baby can go on land.
We need to
Oh,
hide
that
this
is sick.
somewhere in
Yeah.
a cave, far away from any Empire outpost.
All right. Dunstan
As
will-
they say that, you have probably worked for most with Splitlick on this thing, and he gives you a knowing look. You guys have enough juice that you can power this thing for maybe an hour's travel. If it runs out at that point, then
Bloop.
you will be
Little
sat
flick.
on the water surface because the Levitor stone is just going to hover above the surface, but you guys are going to be unable to pilot it because you're just going to be stuck there on the river surface.
Do we still have the ability to pump magic into it? Like we
Yeah,
did?
that's what I'm saying. Like, pumping magic into it is going to give it short bursts that you can get to places. The mechanism you've put in there that allows it to travel at these like fast speeds, rather than just relying on magic, it's going to essentially, we're 30 seconds in, that's going to crap out in a good hour's time. You can have the short bursts of like speed that are going to get you like maybe 40, 50 feet at a time. But you've got amount you've been traveling now, maybe 40 minutes. Diana slaps the end of the rapid riders to get attention.
Technical point.
Okay.
What time is it? How long does it take to get to Harling's Rest? Yeah.
Wouldn't it?
Okay.
Let me
Questions.
This would be, what time is it?
Yeah.
Somewhere around 4 or 5 a.m. You guys concert through the night, and then early as the morning, everybody rushes back to where they're meant to be, and you guys were about halfway through. So yeah, probably more closer to 4 a.m. at the moment, to the point where you can just about see the sun is going to start rising behind you in the east. With regards to traveling to Harling's Rest, I would say you could make a survival check with advantage if you have made the journey to Harling's Rest before, between Harling's Rest and Benilicia.
In Howlight's backstory, he came from, and he came down. Would he have
Yeah,
gone
you
across Howlight's
most
Rest?
likely would have traveled through Salaton down to Harling's Rest, and then, if you were following the road, that's where you would have gone. So you would have made that journey before.
Okay,
Okay.
I can do that.
Yeah.
If everyone's okay with that.
Is disappoint from taxes, Sarah? I can see
This
the
is
hand.
after, but just keeping my
After,
hand up
okay.
just now. Yeah.
Can I also do a survival check with advantage as well?
Yes, yeah. You definitely have made that journey before.
Cool. So 16 for me.
It's a 9 for me.
On the 16, it's like along the road, somewhere around like a good 10 days travel. I think I've worked this out somewhere. Yeah.
That's what this is on the board. It's my nerdy. Distance equals speed.
Yes, yeah. So traveling normally on the sort of the King's Road or the Emperor's Road, I should correct myself. It would be about 8 days travel. If you were going to be stealthy about it, then we would be talking about 10. If you guys were just gunning it as fast as you could and very much drawing attention to yourselves, it would be 6 days. If you guys are going to take the river, you know that you can't take the Rapid Rider, the Project Rapid Rider, the hovercraft you're on. It won't be able to sustain this journey. Think of it like a quarter horse, where it's going to get you a short distance very quickly, but it's not going to be able to sustain that.
Okay.
Highlight.
Correct me if I'm wrong, the Rapid Rider can go on land as well.
So the Rapid Rider can go on land at much reduced pace. It's designed to work on water. You guys have been able to get it to like go up off of the sewer edge and into like the area where you're setting up the band, and you've noticed that it slows down. It seems to struggle keeping the like same elevation it does above the water as well. So it's not like you can fly high in the sky on it. It's going to be like very close to the ground. Any like difficult terrain, it's going to really struggle with. Roads probably would do quite well or decent enough. As good as any like riding horse, but actually trying to get it there, especially if you were trying to get it inconspicuously there, you haven't figured out a way that you could do that yet. And it's not something you've been neglecting. You've been thinking, okay, how can we actually transport this? How can we use it? That's not something you or Splitlick have figured out yet.
Okay.
Well, guys, we have a problem. I love this baby, but she's a gas guzzler. She won't make it all the way to Harling's Rest. We got 40 minutes.
Yeah, we need to find a place to stash it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they'll know where we're gone, like, straight away.
Okay. And taxes?
So I can imagine after the event of the one shot where she almost went flying off this machine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrified, so I'm gripping the side of it, like to the point where knuckles are white. But, like,
Yes.
can we keep to the banks? You know, away from the center of the river, close to the banks, get further into more wild area rather
Taxes,
than
you'll be
open
fine.
river.
You can swim, right?
No.
But she's got a good idea. She's got a good idea, though. I'll take her close to the tree line.
Yeah. Smart.
I will use my swarm to just see if I can find, like, just keep an eye out and see if I can find anything, any kind of cavern system, any kind of like inlet of the river that we could take it down and find something.
Absolutely.
Somewhere we could do that.
I think we've had, I think Ben's going to address the same thing that I am, but we've just had a raid of 10 people come over from Casa DM.
Hi, guys.
Hey, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, you're joining
Hey,
us
Gemstone.
right at the start of our second episode of The Rapid Riders, a punk rock rebellion in the heart of an even empire that are currently fleeing for their lives and aboard their namesake for Project Rapid Rider, and sort of Arcana Tech hovercraft that is quickly running out of power as they are searching for where they could possibly stash it. We have Dewey here, Swarm Lord, who's a flock of ravens, but also just pigeons and Disney birds of all ilk, just lift themselves, non-Disney, like, not copyright, just lift themselves into the air. I'm going to say make a perception check with advantage, as almost like Viking sending up the ravens that they would head to land if they could see it. You are using them to guide you as they are sort of flying in a direction that makes sense.
Fly, my ravens, and the ravens fly off, and the one pigeon with them just flies into the tree. And but one of those is a natural 20.
That'll fucking do it.
I'll do it.
Come on!
Nice. Okay.
Good teams.
You watch as the swarm just gather to maybe 100 foot in the air, just rocketing straight up, and then begin descending in an area at a sort of slow and steady pace. You think they're sort of angling themselves to ride. On a nat 20, your keenness of vision, you know you can't see it yet, but the rate they're descending, the rate that you're going, it's maybe at your speed 20 minutes up a river. They have seen something that will work.
Okay, all right, yeah, I'll flag it up. Okay, guys, I think the squad's found something.
Perfect.
Call them the squad.
Squad goals. A lot of time Dewey's only friends with birds, all right?
You rocket up the river, just spraying water a lot into your face, unless you are looking away. Badger, as this is happening to you,
This is all new to me.
Oh,
First and foremost, terrified of everything. But second of all, I would ask if it's alright for me to cast a spell on Diana.
okay.
Cure wounds.
Ah,
To give her some HP back, because
That would be
the
nice.
lady was hurt. Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, describe it. You're going hell for leather up this river. You reach out with a hand, one
I'm
gripping
grabbing
on.
her shoulder really close, really digging my nails in. Ow!
But
Get
that-
better,
Yeah.
bitch.
And I imagine sort of wildfire just roils over one of the wounds.
Yes.
ow, but thanks. I kind of feels better actually. How do you?
So that is an 8 plus 4, so 12 hit points.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
Like acupuncture hurts so good.
Yes, it hurts so good.
Yeah,
I
full
imagine it's a
again.
crop.
And you guys are speeding towards her. Let me know if you say anything to each other as you are headed towards this destination.
I imagine
Sorry, yeah, Karen.
I imagine that how Badger heals people is kind of like a Karate Kid like fire that Mr. Mohaki does.
Has anyone
Yeah.
been on a fast-moving vehicle in the rain when there's no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And Zeke is sort of keeping his head away from the onslaught of water. But Zeke.
I would just like to basically be keeping an eye out behind us, because everyone seems to be mostly focusing on where we're gonna go. I just want to make sure that no one's following.
Okay, make a perception check.
Just in case. Roll. That's a 12. Not very
12. It's not great. There's a spray of water behind you. It's obscuring the center of your vision. It clocks you clock the fact that that's probably pretty valuable. You're leaving a trail, and that probably extends for a little while back. How quickly they'd be able to get people in boats, because they knew you had this. They might have been expecting something like this. You're not sure. In the sort of spray, on a 12, it's a little bit unlucky for you, as you sort of can't quite catch it because you're distracted by just...
Hold on for my dear life with my thighs just...
Yeah, that's mostly what... Yeah, you're just trying to... You have a good idea, it's just actually getting it to work. But as far as you can see, nobody's behind you, certainly nobody who can possibly match your speed.
Cool, that's fine.
Good.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be constantly doing that because everyone else is either very, very hurt or piloting or trying to hold on for dear life, so...
Should really install seatbelts in this thing.
I will say as well, you're distracted, and in that moment as you're looking past, sort of trying to catch something, you see almost a shimmering blue to one of the jets of water as it goes past, and as you sort of catch it in the corner of your eye, the blue turns to a silver before it is gone.
Okay. With a
you're the
12,
only one looking at it.
I haven't caught it well enough to make it out, so I'm not going to say anything.
Okay.
It could just be the booze.
It could just be the booze. It could be something fell off a rapid rider and just turned blue. And well, that's gone now. Hope that wasn't important.
That probably wasn't that important. We're still going.
My keys.
if it's not attached anymore and we're still going, it's clearly not important.
Exactly. You continue to make your way rapidly, riding up the river, to this point where you see the birds are beginning to circle Halite. You drive in close and you see this small cove-like beach. The sand extends quite far along, but for the cliff edge you've been passing for the last 10-15 minutes, it's just a sudden place you could make landfall. You see the birds are swarming around the sort of entrance to a cave that seems to just tuck in to the start of the cove. Be fairly well shielded from sight. If the birds weren't there, if it weren't for the natural 20 that Dewey had to sort of command them to do this, you don't think it'd be visible by anybody passing the river, certainly at any speed. There's plenty of, not quite seaweed because the river yacht obviously flows, but there is a great deal of this sort of water weed, sort of pond life that has washed up on the shore as well that could make a suitable cover for it. It would make it quite difficult to spot by river if you were to park it in there.
I shall.
That's the spot. Let's do it.
With just a sort of as the fans that propel the craft power down, you launch up onto the beach with just a crash as the sand goes flying rather than water. As you bring it to a break, people just have to grip on. And there is just the slow descent of feet onto wet sand. And yeah, you are now here in this space, on this cove, sort of within a cliff. If you want to sort of picture it in your minds, sort of viewing it from the river, you have this long extending beach into the middle distance. You can see where it becomes these sort of sand dunes, maybe 300, 400 feet away, flanked on either side by these large cliff faces that eventually diminish to match the height of the sand dunes. You are on the right-hand side in a cave that is naturally formed into one of these cliffs. Aside from that, the beach is almost entirely empty of any other notable feature, except for you can see almost looks like debris in the middle, pretty much roughly smack bang in the middle of the beach. You'd have to get closer to figure it out, but it's maybe 100, 200 foot from the shore. That's where the party are right now, sort of in this cave, huddling around the rapid rider. Some of you picking up this sort of pondweed to throw over it, so to make a kind of natural camouflage. Yes, highlight.
Is there anything how cars have keys? Is there anything to stop this thing from activating? So is it something that like a piece of it you can take out where they can easily plug back in, like a spark plug that he needs to run, and then Halai can have that on his person, or Splitlick can have that on his person?
Is this something you discussed with Splitlick?
Yeah.
Okay. As you present the idea to him, he starts thinking as well. With your permission, he's going to make an Arcana check to try and figure this out, but he's going to use your assistance because you have, he knows the mechanism of this thing. You know the soul of this thing.
Halai has a big backpack, and he has smith tools in his backpack because, obviously, Splitlick doesn't carry them with him all the time. If he can utilize those, I will also put them down as well.
That also helps you. He has tinkerer's tools. You have blacksmith tools. some stuff takes a delicate, like, working. Something takes, like, a chisel and hammer it off, just take a plate off. That's definitely going to give him advantage in this moment. I like to make this more of a role that involves you, though. So could you make a blacksmithing tools proficiency check?
How would I do that?
Right there, maybe?
I can't click on it. So would I just roll a d20?
I would roll a d20. I'm going to say add your proficiency bonus, which at this level I believe is +3. And then I'm going to say this is something technical. This isn't you... No, this is you using your strength to assist him in getting to the places he needs to go. So you make this a strength check with proficiency and just roll flat, no advantage or disadvantage.
With proficiency, 18, 19, 20. Strength check.
Yes.
21, 22, 23. 23.
23. Yeah, you definitely get into the place you need to go. He just like points and just signs there. You open up sort of the underside. You see he's going close to the levator stone. He gets in close underneath it, and he like fully disappears under it because he is like less than half your height. Reaches up with some tools, and he sort of bangs on a particular piece. You take the signal and open it up and see him through the like chassis of the thing. He hands you a small, it looks almost like a small copper tube with little crystals on either end. And as he sort of breaks away the last wires that are attached to it, you just hear the slow hum that the fans were producing just go. And fully
Nice.
stop. You think without that, you would have to have knowledge of how this thing's work to be able to replace it, and it's not an easy part to replace. It's not a key, but it's an important part of it that is now missing and in your possession.
Cool. I'm just going to call it the keys. To the rapid rider.
Well, most of it, it would only be people that were looking for the rapid rider that would know any of that anyway. Most people coming across this would just not have a clue what it was anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have a look around this cove then. Like, is there an easy way for us up out of it if you said there's cliffs around it?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Ah, Jesus. Just roll dice more often. That is 27.
You, with the sort of sunlight beginning to crest on the horizon, you are able to scout the area very efficiently. You see that there is this, like I say, cliff face on either side. The water seems to extend most of the way up the right-hand side of the cliff face, but in the far distance you can see where it becomes a path that leads away. On a 27, you
Tell
see
how old the moss is.
almost. You can see that there are seagulls that are lining the cliffs. A few of them sort of gathered in one spot, and clearly some nests there. You see that there is a decent sort of line to the pond weed has been created, so you know how far it comes in with the tide, and you know that sort of tide line is not too far from this wreckage, which you can see now. It looks like a sort of shelled out boat that has taken a lot of damage, sort of a rowboat size from this distance, and there is almost like a concavity to the sand nearby it.
Okay. All right. That might be something to have. Like, how far away is it? Sorry, did you say from where we are?
From where you are, about 100 feet.
Okay, fair enough. Well, having noticed all the seagull nests, I'll just spread out what we're covering it up with just a little bit more, because that poo will make the paint go bad. And then I'll investigate and then I'll go and investigate.
Okay. Is anybody going with Dewey as they head towards this? Yeah. Taxes and Zeke are following you closely as you
I
still
am-
quite severely wounded.
Yeah, I am. I'm also looking as I'm heading towards it, seeing that I got two others with me. I'm also going to look for like footprints and things like that in the sand, see if there's any obvious signs of recent movement.
Okay. You would find on that sort of 27, I'll continue that sort of roll into this. There's no footprints around it. In fact, the sand doesn't seem disturbed much at all, as though it hasn't been for a while, which is a little bit like, but there's a boat here. Somebody clearly, unless it's long abandoned, but then it doesn't look too long abandoned. But
So it's still in one piece then.
Yeah, the boat is... One piece is not accurate way to describe it. It has been slammed against in some way and broken, as though against a rock. Maybe somebody dragged it here from where it was crashed, but that seems a bit strange. There's no trail. There's just this concavity in the ground next to it. And as you're looking around from here, you're seeing that there's another concavity, this sort of like depression in the sand, maybe 5 to 10 foot deep, another like 20 foot further along. Zeke is looking at this too as you point it out.
Immediately as I see that, I'm just going to grab him by the waist again, because again, it's the highest point that I can grab on pretty much anyone, and just pull him up back by his belt and just maybe not step on that sand.
Yeah, I don't like that.
As you do so, you notice one of the concavities about 20 foot away. The sand just begins slowly shifting, depressing further in your direction.
Back up.
You begin running. I'm going to say each of you make me an athletics check. That is how many feet you make it back towards the rest of the group before we roll initiative.
I was gonna say.
Am I including that because I'm with you?
Yes, yeah, you are there as well.
I was gonna say while they're doing that, I was gonna sit sort of near the entrance and play, and then I'm just like, I just sat down, and oh, for fuck's sake,
Yes.
stand back up again. Now what?
Yeah, I would say during this time is where Halite is sort of getting the keys for the Rapid Rider. Badger, you are currently sort of in the mouth of the cave, sort of nearby Diana, as you watch these guys doing this.
I'm also stuffing one of my sticks into my boot again, where it usually lives.
Yeah.
But so I only have one stick now.
The sticks are away. As
One
you
stick
see,
is away, the other stick is here.
you see them get there, look around for a good maybe like 5-10 seconds before like you see Zeke's hand go up. They begin rushing back towards you. Zeke, what was your athletics check?
Soft 20.
Soft 20. So you are. So let's put the boat at 100 foot from the cave. You are at the 80 foot mark. Doing
9.
9. You are at the 91. So I'm just going to call it 90 foot mark. I'm going to say that Zeke, would you have let go of him as you were running?
Nope.
No, I'm going to put you together at the 85 foot mark then, in that case. That makes my life easier. And taxes.
Can I argue acrobatics?
No, there's no acrobatics to you just dead sprinting away from...
Okay, so in that case, it's a 5.
5. You are at the 95 foot mark. So, for reference, we have sort of cave where the rest of the party are, 85 foot to Zeke and Dewey, who are beginning to run. Taxes a good 10 foot behind them, and bursting up pretty much in between them, you see this shale-like head rocket out of the ground as a large creature with a gaping maw just launches up, and we are going into initiative.
Yes.
I just wanted to sit down.
Oh, we have a technical point.
5
We have a
minutes.
technical point.
It's a player character. Oh my god. As a fellow DM, god damn you, I want to use this monster. I love these monsters and I never get
I
to
love
use them.
monstrosities, and I'm going to put every monstrosity in this campaign down.
Great.
Okay, good to know.
Ooh.
Oh, no. That's happened.
Okay. So they rolled a natural 19. Let's go. I'm going to go by order that I have them on the Discord. Sorry if that messes things up a bit, but obviously podcast listeners makes no difference. Ben, what is your Zeke's initiative?
17.
17. Diana.
A massive 5.
5.
Look, I'm gonna have a rest, guys. Yeah.
Badger.
8.
8. We have Dewey.
18.
18. Taxes.
19.
19. Matching. And Halite.
Sorry, what was taxes again?
19.
Halite is a whopping 10.
10. Okay. You definitely have more decks than this. I don't have to do the contest there. So let me write out my turn order and underline Halite so I don't just keep forgetting them this time.
I like how the 3 that's closest is the highest on initiative. That's how I like it.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like he's the biggest person here. You can forget him.
You're also pretty injured, bud.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not scrapped. I'm fine.
Halite
You should-
has scratches, but is by no means down or even close.
Oh, I'm not saying he's down, but he did take some arrows in the ass.
He took a punch. He took a puncture and a punch.
They're like
But-
sticky nettles, isn't it?
But as this large monstrosity burrows out of the ground in a spray of sand, directly between Zeke, Dewey, and Taxes, in that sort of 10-foot space between them, occupying it entirely, we come to Taxes. You're sort of cut off from the rest of your party by the appearance of this thing.
Cool. Can I do bonus action insightful fighting?
Yes, you can.
So that's my insight against its deception.
Surprisingly uncharismatic is this creature. That is a 10.
Say, one. That's a 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gather insight into how this thing fights. It is brawn and not much else. And you know how to take advantage of that.
Okay, and then I'm going to shoot it with my short bow. And
Okay.
add- if I
You are
can-
currently in melee range with it.
Oh, am I
because-
melee range with it? Okay,
Yes.
cool. Change of plan. I hit him with my rapier. This.
Nice.
That's a natural 20.
Oh, come on, Taxes.
All right.
That's
got this.
Is that our third of the campaign so far?
This is where I got my sneak attack, so fuck yeah. Okay, so how does sneak attack work in person? Because I've never rolled sneak attack.
In person.
You look how many
Is it
extra
Like
dice you
as
got.
in like dice. Like I've
Um,
never done it as
Oh, you
You
roll
do
as
not
many
does it
dice
for you.
as it says.
Check your level. I believe at a level
Yeah.
5 rogue, you get 5d6 added to...
3d6.
No,
3d6.
not 5.
I wish
Okay.
it was 5.
That's
Okay.
monstrous.
I do not play many rogues against my better judgment.
How are you doing 20s? Is the max damage double dice?
We're going to keep it rules as written for now, which is that you double the number of dice that you roll.
Did that included sneak attack?
That includes the
No.
sneak attack.
Does it?
Yes.
They are dice that are rolled. Oh, yeah.
That's why
Nice.
Smite gets so powerful.
Okay.
Smite Rogue is
My
terrifying.
assassins are
So-
just assassinate.
So I guess I might not touch this thing then.
Hope not.
What do you think how I feel?
Just-
He's 90 feet away.
6, 11.
I really needs to punch something right now.
I'm gonna play some music, I think. I don't know. Never gonna get there.
1, 26, 29 points of damage.
Oh,
I love
You know
rogues.
how to fight brawn, and how you fight brawn is by stabbing it directly through these armored plates. And it whirls in pain towards you, but still seems focused on what it's going to try and do next.
oh god.
Any movement from you?
No, because it's gonna invoke attack opportunity.
Yeah, it would. It's big and dumb. But right now it's
Hey.
going to do the big dumb thing. And it's going to round on you, who just stabbed it and are clearly the danger because you just stabbed it hard. And it's going to launch forward towards you. Its carapace opens up into this shovel-like jaw as it slams towards you. A spray of sand going up. That is going to be a 19 to hit you.
Yeah.
Oh, sand in the eyes. No.
Pocket sand.
Pocket sand. That was a lot of dice, Sam.
I did not like that.
You take 28 points of piercing damage
Wait, I'm down.
as this thing slams into you with a shovel-like jaw just across your chest, throws you into the air, and you land still in your space, just on the floor, prone, bleeding out, as its head rounds towards the remainder of its dinner that is running away.
That was my sacked damage. That's my sacked health.
It's gonna stay where it is because you guys have to run from it, and it knows that you're probably gonna try and run from it. As we come to Dewey, the Swarm Lord.
Oh, great. Well, I had a plan, but in that plan, Taxes was alive. So,
Oh no.
I'm gonna have to... Oh, Christ. All right. Okay. I hope you guys are ready to pick up 2 people by the time you get to this thing. I'll draw both my short swords, and do I want to use that bonus action to get the fuck out of here?
Like, seeing the full height of this thing now, it almost looks like a toad with these giant mole-like extensions to its feet, armored chitin plating up its entire... Well, it's more like bone plating up its entire exterior, except for the inside of its mouth, which is just this fleshy, gorgy tongue that is looking down upon you.
Favored foe, the ability is not a bonus reaction.
No.
It's just a thing
It just
that
happens,
you do,
and this
so
thing...
that will save it. So I will take a choppy at it.
Go for it.
Really fucking hope I can get another 20, because I don't get a 20, but that's still good. That is 21. Yes, that's 21. So that's good. That's
21 is enough to break through this thing's natural armor as you, rather than try and circumvent the plates, pick a point that structurally should be weaker, jam, and just slide through this thing's plate with the sword.
Okay, I will favor foe, so that adds a d4 to the damage, and Dewey always whistles while he works, because he's a Swarm Lord, which...
Learned that off the dwarves, didn't you?
I did. I will straight up just get the crows to just dive bomb it.
Okay.
Because of the 3 options.
Straight down the esophagus.
Once on each of your turns, you can cause your swarm to assist you in one of the following ways. I'm not going to try and move it because it's huge. But one of the options is attacks damage takes 1d6 piercing damage from the swarm. So that's
There's a swarm of beaks go colliding into this thing.
2d6 and a d4, which only rolled a 1. But that is 11. That is 11 points of damage.
11 points of damage to this thing. That's another good blow. Some of these birds dive bombing this thing fully just slam into it. A couple make their way. Just bird on a window, just they're out. Yeah, go on. I'd say with that, is it looking? I imagine it's not on its last legs, but is it looking? By no means.
Hurt? Doing that, I'm like screaming like, come on, and then I will use as a bonus action, because on a duel for once per day, I can basically just and then just evaporate, just a massive.
You used it. You used it in your.
Yes,
you used it in the previous combat encounter.
The same day.
I think that I can, and then realise that
You
I
reach
haven't
for
got
that
enough juice.
power, and you reach for the mists around you, and just cannot draw them with the same force. You just almost collapse to a knee, trying to do the same thing.
In that case, as a bonus action, I will offhand choppy chop.
More
God
dice.
damn it! That's good. That's the no. Oh no! Oh no!
We've lost the Sam again. Stay with us, everyone. There he is again.
Fine.
I'm back.
The cat is doing its thing.
Sometimes we blame it all on the cat.
It's always a cat's fault.
Only
Stay with us, everyone. We're just going to. Oh no,
10
it's
seconds.
adjusted back on screen.
Yep, it only happens
Awesome.
for 10 seconds at a time, but I do apologize.
Sorry. Bonus
Yeah.
action, offhand attack.
Okay.
Because
me-
I've got dual wieldy stuff. 16, 20. That's a 23.
Yeah,
For
definitely
that
hits.
one. Let me just double check if favored foe is every time I hit or just the first time I hit I get the extra d4. So this is just a d6, but I am allowed to add my stuff to it. So that is another 5 points of damage to it.
5 points of damage. It still looks pretty tanky as it continues to bear down on you, swatting away some of the birds with his giant mole-like fingers. As Zeke, it is your turn.
Okay. For the sake of myself and the podcast listeners, can you describe what this thing looks like face on?
So, face on, you should be picturing a 7-8 foot wide bone plate that is this sort of convex bone plate that ends in a single point like a beak. Roughly halfway along, these sort of not glowing so much as piercing yellow eyes with no pupils bearing down on you, ending in a sort of crest of rock spiraling from the back of its head. Underneath the jaw sort of bone plate, between its roars, forms a solid point underneath, and as it roars, just this giant fleshy tongue inside, roaring down and staring at you. Besides that, it has these squat, strong arms that look like tree trunks with these heavy set claws. If you picture a mole's claws that sort of extend well beyond the feet, that is what we're dealing with here. You gather quite quickly that this thing is meant to burrow as it has through the sand towards you.
So, seeing taxes go down, looking to my right, realizing that I have a tasty morsel of bloody meat next to me, because this has been bleeding profusely since the last fight. Just... and I'm just going to run straight after it. I'm going to try and jump onto its face to get near its eye, and I am just going to be attempting to repeatedly smack it straight in its eye, if I can. Because it is a soft, squishy spot.
I will say you run up and do that, and you aim for this spot. It's not super fast, but it's enough that it can see a fist coming to its eye and move its way. This is still an attack trying to hit the weak points as you would in any fight as you're reaching up towards it.
That's fine. Come on. That's a 24 to hit.
24 definitely hits.
Not a good hit, but 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage as you connect with this flashy eye. You see at the last moment, this third eyelid comes across to try and take some of the blow, but you still feel a significant depression into this eye socket as you deliver the blow.
And second strike, I'm going to attempt to stunning strike it.
Okay.
Again, straight into the eye. That's 22 to hit.
22 definitely hits.
Another one. That's 4 points of damage.
Rough.
And with that, I am going to use my drunken technique, which allows me to stagger anywhere up to 10 feet. So I'm going to stagger basically around and end up over the top of Taxes, just so he can't get immediately to him. It has to attack me instead.
Okay, I'll allow it.
But yeah, I'm just haymakering this thing in the eye and just like...
Yeah.
Go
you say
away.
you're going to try and stunning strike it?
Yes, so the second strike was a stunning strike. It is a con save of 13 that you need to make.
This thing, surprisingly enough, is quite constitutional.
A lot of armor.
That's a reaction of.
That's a nat 1. That's
Oh.
a nat 1.
Yay!
Which I believe is the first combat nat 1 of
It
this
is.
Fumble Folks campaign.
It is.
Oh, I have a thing.
Fumble-
Shit, didn't
Fumble
think
roll.
this was gonna happen.
We have a thing.
We were there.
We have a thing here at Fumble Folks, because that is a fumble. That
It
is
is
a
a
nat 1
fumble.
during combat. If that were to hit, then you can decide it hits, but something bad is going to happen to you. You can work with the DM to make that work. Because I am the DM, I am going to take that fumble rule. So they are not going to be stunned, but something bad is going to happen.
I wanted to bite his
Wait, oh.
tongue.
Also,
But also,
Oh, no,
Bree,
sorry, Gem.
I was
Gemstone
gonna
has
say
suggested a-
Gemstone has just redeemed suggest a fumble, so crack on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what would you like this to happen to this thing?
So maybe describe
Yeah.
what it's doing, Sam, and then like.
So it, like, you see this shock run through it, and it's just, it looks like it's fully going to not be able to move itself as it sieges. You hit that, like, real pressure point, and then it manages to break out of that, but blood is just streaming from its nostrils, this sort of, like, previously in, like, almost invisible nostrils that were present in the very beak of this thing. It has suffered in some way to not be stunned. Gemstone, please suggest something. My recommendations would be some kind of massive penalty to its movement, its health, its AC, something to make the equivalent of it succeeds, but at a cost. Not it just dies, but
Sky falls out. Sorry.
All I get is again pocket sand.
if I'd given +1 AC to its eyeball, it would still have definitely hit on a 23.
Nice.
Ah, nice.
Blinded.
Doesn't have a dex bonus to its AC.
I will
That's
allow
how it
that.
works.
It has no dex bonus to give, so I'm going to reduce its ace. I'm going to make it blind. I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Literally
So-
punch sand into its eyes.
For one
Well, just
round,
run it
it
down
is
into his eye.
it is not stunned, but it is blinded. As you punch so hard in the eye, you're intending to stun it. Instead, like I'm going to say, instead of like a punch in one eye, you sort of kick in one, and with that second attack, you punch in the other. It manages to stop itself being stunned, but it has to sort of close its eyes and keep them shut as it is reeling from that attack, as it is blinded for this round until the start of your turn, I will say, Zeke. I'm going to say the
Thanks,
end
Jen.
of its turn. The end of its turn, I think, makes most sense. That's when it recovers. Right. We are with Halite.
Halite leaves the cave. Could
Yep.
you describe the surroundings to me, please, man?
You step out of this cave entrance, as you can see in the distance, about 90 foot away from you. This gigantic monstrosity made of bone-plated armor is attacking your friends. You see Taxes get chomped and go down. You see Zeke is running across this thing's head and punching its eyes as Dewey is slashing at it with birds. Your companions, Badger and Diana, are both getting up and seeing this as well, as you know that you are far away, but not so far that you can't make a difference.
How tall are the trees around us?
The trees, so you are on a beach with the cliff sort of on either side. Trees,
Yeah.
there may be some in the distance on the cliff, but right around you there are no trees.
Okay. Halite, because we're trying to keep on a low cover. So Halite's not going to go for his full 16 feet. He's going to go to, let's just break the medium range and go 10 feet tall. So Halite goes to a 10 feet tall using his giant might feature.
Okay, I'll say you can be shorter.
It allows me to be it allows me to adjust my size. So if the roof is too short down, I still get on my giant's might feature without being that tall.
DM is going to, yeah. It
I
says
was saying the
you
whole thing.
occupy your space. So I'm going to say this is how it works. You run out, go not that tall, walk back into the cave, which is roughly 10 foot tall, use Giant's Might to get up there and go, yep, and then continue going forward.
Okay. It works for me.
Wow.
Fair enough. Then he's gonna full sprint 60 feet, action, and movement towards them.
Okay.
So how far away is he now? He moved 60 feet, but
You moved 60
he's
foot,
got
so
a
you
longer
are
stride.
about 30 foot away from them.
He's also got a longer stride now, though,
How has he got a longer stride?
because he's taller.
Of course, he's massive.
Does that say that in your mechanics of the actual thing that you get increased movement?
Well, he usually occupies a 5-foot square, but now he's a 10-foot square. So therefore,
Cool. So you
As-
still
like,
move the
not-
same
not
distance.
normally- so
okay.
You're
No, so
moving
it's
almost in like Ant-Man massive slow motion as you like shaking the sand as you run with these heavy footfalls.
But the creature's in 30 feet of me.
It was within 30 feet of you, correct?
Halite pulls out a stone and readies. And it's ready. But he ends his turn. That's what he can do.
Ends his turn, he's readying a stone to throw. I'm going to say you're sort of readying an attack. You're sort of looking for a trigger. What is the trigger for this?
He can't. He hasn't got another action, so he's going to do something preparing for.
Oh, right. So you action dash movement and your giant thing. Yeah, you've just ended your turn and you are getting ready to do something on your next turn.
Yeah.
Cool. We are going to go next in our initiative order to Badger.
Badger. Great. Hi.
Hey.
Yay! I'm terrified. Badger will want to cast Earthbind on it,
Okay. I'm going to quickly look
which
up
I
the-
have 300 feet range, so it should be within range.
Oh, it's definitely within range.
For up to I can concentration for up to a minute. But it is a strange check, so I'm scared.
What's the?
I'm just
DC
reading
check?
the Earthbind text here and just confirming this is what you want to cast, because on a successful cast, the creature's flying speed is reduced to 0. And that's it.
Yeah, it's flying, not movement. So
It
you
is
basically-
only flying. Oh my!
Yeah, no, yeah, it grounds.
It's meant to take something flying in the air and go, no, you live down here now, and slam it to the ground.
I'm sorry. I thought it was the bind thing. Oh
That
shit!
would
I'm
be
sorry.
Entangle, I believe, is that spell.
That is
Yes.
that is true. You're right.
If you
you're
have
right.
that spell prepared, then absolutely you can cast Entangle. It's 10 foot wide, or the space it's occupying is
I
10
do not
foot.
have that spell prepared.
That's okay.
Okay. Never mind. Then we do plan 2, which is first and foremost I'm gonna move
Okay.
my full 30 feet. I'm guessing I have movement. So I'm gonna move 30 feet towards them. That's my
Okay.
step.
So you're now 60 foot away from this creature and the
From the
fight
creature
that's
itself.
ensuing.
Yes, exactly. Then I wonder, because I have this thing. Okay, I have 2 questions.
Mm-hmm.
I have summoned Wildfire Spirit.
Yes.
It does not, as far as I can see, it does not say how far away I can summon this thing.
Let's check that.
Because
I believe it's right
within
next to
30
you.
foot.
it's right next to me,
Yes,
It
within 30
appears
feet.
in a-
so-
Yeah, within 30 feet.
within 30 feet of me. Okay. My second question is, can an unconscious person consent?
I know what you're trying to do because I've played with wildfire druids before. I'm going to say.
No.
Probably not,
No.
right?
No.
Probably
No,
not.
they can't.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm gonna
that's
make
what
a
I thought.
hardline ruling here. I'm going to make a hardline ruling that, and this might be shocking, unconscious people can't consent. And you know what? I'm going to stand by that for now and ever.
Yeah.
In game as it is in real life, unconscious people can't consent.
Sarah, you've got a point of.
Next time, I will sign a piece of paper, like, a life
If
thing.
I ever go unconscious, you're allowed to
Yeah,
get me
yeah,
out
yeah.
Save my
by
life.
whatever means necessary. I understand. That's something we will address in the future.
We will talk this through afterwards. Okay,
But
cool.
to the hard question of can unconscious people consent, I'm going to take the noble stance and perhaps controversial
Appreciate
stance
it,
of
appreciate it,
absolutely
appreciate
fucking no, they cannot.
Yeah, good. I appreciate that. Okay. Then I don't know what to do. Okay.
So you've got options. It's far away, but you have spells that you can cast far away. Dealing damage is never a bad move at all, especially when something is big and you just got to take it down. Getting people out of there, not a bad move either, but that's probably starting to be not in what you have available at that distance. So start looking at spells that you can just throw at this thing, not necessarily trying to bind it, just trying to hurt it.
Okay. I want to hex it then.
Okay, is that from Buka? You can hex things?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, I got it with trickster magic. And it's within 90 feet, so it is within range. Because now
Yeah, and I think that's a bonus action as well. So you, rather than the wildfire spirit, which is an action anyway,
It is.
so the bonus action, you whisper this sylvan, almost like a sylvan curse song, as the air whips around this thing, as autumn leaves appear where they were not before and surround this thing as it is blinded, looking around, trying to figure out what is going on. It is hexed. You can give it, I believe, disadvantage on a kind of ability check, not a saving throw. What kind of attribute of this thing would you like to sap from it?
Either strength or constitution, but I'm going strength. That was my first thought.
The strength of this thing, you see it falter as these sort of autumn leaves begin to slice into part of it, and it is unable to hold itself with the same strength it was before. It's blinded. It has disadvantage on all strength checks, including anything to try and grapple or push.
It's having a bad day.
It's having a bad day.
It's having a bad day.
Came into his home.
You came to it where it lived, and it came here first. But
We came to
you still have an action.
An action, yeah.
You've cast a spell as your bonus action, so you can still cast a cantrip as your action.
Even if because it is concentration though. That is
Hex is concentration,
yes.
and it's also it's a spell level higher than cantrip. It's 1 or higher.
Yes.
So that is the main spell you cast this turn. You can still throw some low level magic at this guy. It just has to be a cantrip. I don't know if you have anything like Thorn Whip. Tends to be a druid spell.
I don't have anything of that.
If not, then consider the sort of the basic actions. Sort of you can use your action to dash, hide, try and assist someone using a help action in some way. Diana is right next to you currently.
No, she's 30 feet behind me, technically.
Okay.
If I move forward.
But you can try, that's just an option you have. It's underutilized, in my opinion.
Yes.
The ability to help somebody succeed when you really can't do anything else.
Yes. But I'm gonna move another 20 feet forward. So I am at
50.
I am, at 50 total. But 50 feet from the cave. So I'm halfway to the boat.
You're halfway between the boat and the cave, and about 40 foot away from this creature who nobody has identified yet, and I can't say its name. It's really right, Diana.
I was muted on the stream. Sorry. Cool. I would like. So I'm just like, ugh, and then I'm still playing. I'm still playing my guitar. And I'll walk into the cave.
The cave?
Well, no, I was already in the cave, but...
Yeah.
Yeah?
So you're backwards into... Okay.
Yes? Can I get within 60 feet of taxes?
30 foot forward would put you...
Hang on a sec.
Oh, we have a slight DC here.
I have a bit of a technical...
So you didn't walk back into the cave, you walked outside of the cave.
I don't. No, everyone's in the cave, right?
No,
you are sort of... You said you were on the edge of a cave playing your song.
I was, yeah.
Everybody else is in the open space of the beach. If you're walking towards them, you're walking out of the cave.
I thought everyone was in the cave.
I was like, trees.
Well, anyway, I want to get within 60 feet of taxes. Is what I want.
Cool. She is, by her athletics roll, which was what I used to determine how close she could get to you. She is 95 foot from you, so 30 foot puts you 65 foot away. It was an important roll. We didn't know how important it was going to be, but it was important.
Okay. Maybe next time.
Highlights chugging out there.
I will get to 65 feet, and I will note that. So Diana is still gonna do what she was gonna do, but there is somebody closer than Taxes that might need help. So she's gonna, as she's walking her swift 30 foot, she's gonna sing an elvish lullaby. So she's gonna be like, Paida gofni dim ond deilen, gira gira ar y ddŵr. And she's gonna cast
Beautiful.
Healing Word as a bonus action. You feel so
Nice.
much better.
Nice.
Which
Roll that healing.
Is it just the 1d4? Yes. Yes, it is. So you get 5 healing.
Is that for me?
It is for you.
Is this for me?
I'm guessing that was in Elvish. So I was, deal.
Yeah, bud. Yes, and also with that lullaby, she's gonna cast Sleep on the thingy bobum.
Okay,
Which is a
you
lot
used
of-
Healing Word as a bonus action,
Yeah. Oh
and
shit.
Sleep
Gotta
is...
be
Fuck.
cantrip open.
Can I take that back?
Take back for healing from
Yeah,
Dylan.
because the lullaby was for the thing. Sorry. Phil.
Aww. That does make sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can
I-
make... Yeah, obviously you still have Bardic Inspirations, I think.
I
you're all out?
realized
Well-
I'm all out.
Okay. Instead, the Elvish Lullaby for this
Yes.
thing.
That was the whole point of the
Um,
lullaby. Sorry, Phil.
That's okay. It's all right.
So you have a...
Fine. You don't want me to live. It's
If I
fine.
believe the cast of Sleep, you roll a certain number of dice, and if its hit points are below that,
Yes.
then it goes to sleep.
Yes.
How many dice? What level are you casting this at? What,
Second level, so there are 7 dice.
78, is it?
78s.
Okay.
Ooh.
Cool.
Do the trick.
And it's within 20 foot. So I'm gonna try not to get other people in that.
I'm going to say that's not going to be a problem.
Okay, cool.
If you aim high, there's no way you can get anybody else in that 20 foot.
Exactly, I'm only 3 foot tall.
Yeah, you've got Dewey, you've got the prone Taxes, and then you've got Zeke right there as well.
23.
23 hit points worth of sleep. You watch as maybe for half a second its eyes flutter before it is right back and fighting. A lot more than 23 hit points, unfortunately.
Yeah, I got lots of 2s. It was easy to add up, but not very great.
At least there's that.
I'm
That's
going
an
to give
unlucky
you.
roll.
I'm going to give you opportunity to learn more. What is your spellcasting ability modifier? It's charisma, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm going to make a spellcasting ability modifier check. With that, you will learn if it's possible that that spell could
Yeah.
have worked.
Because if it can't be charmed, then that will not be able to work.
I mean, it's
what
different
am I
between
doing,
charmed
sorry?
and being put to sleep.
Spellcasting ability modifier, so basically just your a charisma check.
Okay. Okay. So do I just plus my charisma?
Just plus your charisma.
21.
Fuck. Yeah. You learn in this moment that if you had rolled, in game terms, if that spell has been as powerful as you could have made it, it would not have put this creature to sleep.
Okay, cool.
You learn in that moment a vital piece of information. This thing has a lot of hit points left.
Okay, cool. I can cast. No, I can't. Never mind. I can't do that.
No,
Right.
I don't believe there are any bonus action cantrips apart from Shillelagh, and I don't think you have Shillelagh.
No.
No.
I
Okay.
can't.
Anything else on your turn? You are at 30 foot away from the cave, which puts you 60 foot away from the creature. You have a bonus action, but you've used your movement and action. I don't know if you have anything else you can do. And if
Don't
you
think so,
can't
no.
think of anything, no. We are going to move on to Splitlick, who I've put at the end of a round, who runs out from the cave, reaches madly into a pack, and throws it. For context, we have in the past had a wild magic table here. If you were with us for Bedlam and Benilicia, you would have seen the wild magic table go off.
Oh boy.
With a certain number of the donations of our fumbles. If you look on the chat, you'll see that your fumbles are building up. It's something we might introduce again, but the last time we went off was when I was playing Skyrim, so there was no real way to make that work without console commands. So we decided we were going to hold it, and with people's permission, Splitlick is reaching into a bag, grabbing something, panicking a little, and just chucking it towards the creature. I'm going to roll a D100 here.
Good lord.
I'm
I
so
wanted to be
hoping for
flumps
potted-
again.
I just want potted
Wanted to be
plant.
flumps.
Potted plant. Okay.
You watch as Splitlick is running towards this creature, reaches in the pack, throws something, and almost like a boomerang just begins spinning around his head as you watch this arcane green light create a shield around him, protecting him from damage as he just runs towards him like just shaking his head like very good defensive thing. It gives him a +2 to AC for the next minute and immunity to magic missile, but at the same time helps nothing in this moment.
It helps me feel at
God
peace.
bless.
You know what?
As he is running towards this. He basically has this the shield spell, but it lasts. No, not quite the shield spell, not as powerful, but it still lasts a minute. As he is continuing to run towards this thing, going instead, you see for a more reliable means of damage if it should reach him again. Taxes. You are prone on the ground, Zeke standing above you. The light is fading from your eyes. Could you... First of all, you are unconscious. What does Taxes think of in this moment? What flashes before her eyes?
Probably the rapid rider. She was terrified of that, and now she's almost dead. Let's be honest.
You picture the first time you're on that rapid rider
Yeah.
as you jettisoned forward in that sort of burst of magic. The fans pushed you into air. Zeke grabbed you, threw you down at the same time throwing an explosive. You've never felt so scared, but also never had such adrenaline in your life before. And there's a life you left for exactly this reason. Please make me a death saving throw.
Oh, yeah, I fucking hate you.
Did I pass on the curse of the one?
Pass off the curse.
No.
Come on.
No.
That is a natural 1. You have failed 2 death saving throws, and you are on the brink of death. If you fail 1 more death saving throw or take damage from any source, Taxes has died.
Oh
Oh,
my
this is
god.
this is third episode stuff.
That
not
is the end of
second.
your turn, and it is now the creature's turn.
Death
So
and
just
taxes.
for context,
Blind- the
in the
blind
break,
creature.
I joked that she was gonna get a natural 1.
You don't joke about these things, please.
I
You
know.
don't joke
You
about
joke about them. They're supposed to go away.
It's supposed to stay as a joke.
And because yesterday in yesterday's session D&D, I rolled 3 natural ones in a row, and I joked that I was also passing on the curse to Sarah. So
The
I
good news.
promise I'll get to you in the next round.
The good news is this creature is blind and it cannot see that. The bad news is it has a tremor sense that allows it to detect things within 60 feet. And there's a few things within 60 feet at the moment. and some of them are grouped together.
I'm playing music. Come and get me.
And one of them just cast a spell at it, and while it doesn't understand that, it understood what direction it came from. It begins to gallop past Dewey and Zeke, who can both make attacks of opportunity if they like.
Yes, please.
It is blind?
It is
blind,
blind, so you have advantage on these attacks.
Alright.
23 to hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage.
And a 17 to hit.
17 is its exact armor
Whoa.
class. Before you do damage, Dewey, its current hit point total. No, I'm not going to tell you.
No.
There's a reason I wanted to tell you, and I will tell you later. Dewey.
7.
7 points of damage. You punch into one of its legs as it's running, Zeke. Dewey, it basically leaps over the top of you. You stick your blade up as it slices across as it travels above you. You can see now, in D&D terms, this thing is bloodied. It has lost at least half of its hit points as it scrambles over the top of you, leaps, and using its standing leap feature, leaps 15 foot into the air with a 30-foot long jump and lands with a thundering crash on top of Halite and Badger, who are stood close enough to each other that there is just this thunderous boom as this huge creature, not only basically jumps the height of a house and then lands on you. Could you please make me both, and this is going by the rules here, a strength or dexterity saving throw? You choose.
It's a big dog.
It's a big dog.
It's a big dog. It's a real big dog.
If Halite was full size, he would pet this dog. What sort of strength?
Strength or dexterity saving throw. I imagine Halite wants to make a strength saving throw.
I don't know. Dexterity.
Yes.
I get it.
Tell me what you get.
19 plus 1, so 20.
Ooh.
Very nice.
Do I get advantages on saves or just ability checks?
I
No, it says saving
believe
throws. It says
you get saves, yeah, with giant form.
So 20.
20. You both succeed, so you are not knocked prone. However, as this bludgeoning form with these slashing claws lands amongst you, as part of its deadly leap, you are going to take some damage.
I'm not raging.
That sounds like more than just some. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Oh, that also sounds more than just some.
Hit me. I'm not raging.
You would have taken 36. Instead, you take 18 points of mixed bludgeoning and slashing damage as this thing lands in a swirl of its claws and just a impact crater. And
I'm
then
down.
30, how much? What?
18 points of bludgeoning and slashing as it lands in this crater and continues to burrow into the ground. Halite, you get an attack of opportunity on this thing as it is burrowing into the ground.
It's leaving?
It's going into the ground. You don't know whether that means it's leaving or it's just preparing to make another strike somewhere else, as this thing appears to be able to travel under the sand.
It hit something.
Shit. I do not take my attack of opportunity.
Okay, it burrows into the sand and you can no longer see it. Dewey, it is your turn.
Smart.
Yeah.
I have a choice to make.
Just as a note, DM, I used my reaction to use Stone's Endurance.
Okay.
And I rolled a...
D12 plus con? Can't remember. Been a while since I've been at Goliath.
It's been a while. It's been a while. I rolled a 4.
Been a
It's
while.
not that much, but it's something.
It's definitely worth having.
I only took 14 damage.
Okay, is me. Then can no longer see the creature. It is burrowed under the ground.
It's
now. Is
burrowed
that
under
right?
the ground currently.
Right.
You can feel it tremoring underneath the sand, like the concavities around you are shaking and filling in as this thing is actively moving, trying to figure out what direction it is
In that
difficult.
case, I will grab Taxes and start moving her towards the others.
Fuck yeah, you begin
Well,
moving Taxes closer
No.
towards Diana. Ooh,
Oh.
no.
It's got tremor sense in it. So watch the film Tremors a lot.
I may stop playing the guitar. I don't know yet.
Fuck. But one more failed roll is shit. Would I have enough to drag Taxes closer, but then keep a bit of movement to then be I am a bull, stompy stomp away from where Taxes is?
You.
In fact, yes, because
I believe you have 30 foot of movement.
25, but
25. So you could move. You could grab as an action. You could grab Taxes, move her 10 foot in any direction, and then start sprinting 5 foot in another. I believe. I'm going to rule it in this situation. If you want to make an athletics check to try and almost limit break the situation, where you are just
Ooh, 16.
16.
-1 in that. So.
You drag Taxes. I'm going to say 10 foot is your maximum, but then you can move up to 10 feet away from her. Is this for aim? I'm trying to connect what my player is trying to ask what they want to do here.
Yeah, I want to drag them towards the Healy people, and then go off towards the water, I guess, and be loud about it.
Yes. Okay. You drag Taxes well within range of Diana, and then just not just you, but your birds like skimming along the ground, kicking up sand. You create almost this smoke screen of noise along the ground. I'm gonna say you know that this will work. Make me a nature or an arcana check.
Right.
I'm gonna say the DC is
nature
10.
14, yeah.
14. You know. You don't know what this thing is. You can't put a name to it, but you can figure out how it is hunting. You know that the tremor sense. It's not just like, oh, I know what this is. I know it has tremor sense. Metagaming this. You as a ranger aren't able to put a name to this creature, but you have figured out how it is hunting you, and you are able to manipulate that fact.
Yeah.
And you know that you are creating so much noise that it can be paying very little attention to anything but you at this point.
But the idea being that I'm doing that away from.
Yes,
doing
you're
that
doing
away
that
from
away from the rest of the party, away from Taxes.
No. Away from Taxes, but not away from the rest of the party. I would like to be that little bit closer to bigger people.
So Taxes is now sitting. Okay, we're calling Cave as the sort of 0 foot mark, and the wreckage of a boat is the 100 foot mark. You have dragged Taxes from that 95 foot to the 85 foot mark, which is where you previously were. I'm going to allow that because of the athletics check. And then you are going sort of horizontal towards the you're going towards the rest of the party. So you are now roughly at the 80 to 75 foot mark, so in a dead sprint towards the rest of your party. As Taxes sits at the 85 foot mark, knowing that at the 55 foot mark is where this creature burrowed down.
Okay.
Do you say
Fun
25
times.
foot? Do you say 25 feet?
For 55 foot, you guys have all advanced 30 feet. Like Diana and Cave is 0. 30 foot is Diana and Splitlick. 60 foot is Halite. 50 foot is Badger, who is currently unconscious. And then Zeke, you are currently at the 95 foot mark because you are standing over Taxes. 85 foot is where Taxes is now. We have a point from Doran.
What is the rule about speaking once it's someone else's turn? In the terms of D&D rules, like, do we have like a number?
There's not a hard and fast rule, but we try and keep it to like 7 seconds of like, not quite using a reaction, just like a free action of like, hey, you guys, we should do this really quick. Just that's quite quick to do. I have a technical point, or just a point from Bree as well.
Technical point. So I was 5 foot.
Ooh, we've lost. Oh, Dorian's back.
We're back.
We're fine. We're fine.
No, yeah. So I was 65 feet from taxes, but I'm still in. Well, yeah, just
Now you are
less than that.
55.
That's fine.
Now you're 55 foot from taxes.
I'm struggling with maths.
Cool.
Today, I don't know
Anything
why.
else before we move on quickly to Doran?
Ben, you wanted something to say. That's why I asked the question.
No, it's fine. The reason I anything I would be doing would be meta, which is why I'm not doing it.
Cool. And then we have nobody else raising hands. Is that correct? In that case, I'm going to continue. That is the end of Dewey's turn. We're on to Zeke.
Okay. Because this is a shade 6 seconds, am I able to, as he is attempting to move the rapidly deceasing body, use a medicine check to attempt to stabilize this person?
Absolutely, yes.
Seeing as I've just watched them convulse underneath my feet.
He's drunk, he has steady hands.
Is this something that you can do?
This is a medicine check. This is something anybody can do.
It literally needs to be a 10 or more.
Mm-hmm.
And it stabilizes. If I don't do it, then it doesn't count as anything. That's the rule. Basically, if I get a 10 or more, then I stabilize them.
Because we're Fumble folks, and that one would also be something, but we'll go from there.
I'm terrified.
Please don't do that to me.
Oh shit! Right. Okay. I thought you had to have
12.
like
12. You are running after Dewey as Dewey is dragging taxes along the sand. You can see where this huge beak snapped, and you can see something hemorrhaging. You reach into your pouch. I don't know what you would have in your pouch.
Straight into my alchemist pouch, and I'm gonna get my saltpeter because it's the only thing that I have that will cauterize the wound very quickly.
Yeah,
it is gonna leave a hell of a scar. But
you throw it in. You just
smear it into.
Throw in the saltpeter, chemically cauterize this thing. It stops the bleeding just enough. She's gonna need some medical attention, but she is stable at 0 hit points. Is no longer making death saving throws. If she has to make death saving throws, she starts from midline again.
Cool. I would like to use the rest of my movement to get over to Neri and attempt to do the same thing because I can do.
Neri being Badger, Badger's character.
No, I can't do it this turn anyway. I'm basically going to be doing the whole stompy thing of basically bouncing on the sand, trying to get
you see what Dewey is doing,
Harling.
stamping his feet, getting his birds slam on the ground next to him, with a heavy thud before they go up flying again, and you realize, and you are doing the same thing there. What is your movement?
I have 35 feet of movement, so that would have 25 feet left. Because I moved 10 feet with.
Because you are at the 95-foot mark, so you get down to the 60-foot mark, which is level with Halite, which is 10 foot away from where Badger is currently laying. Okay. Right. Zeke is there. We are in the next person on the initiative, which is in fact Halite.
So the thing this thing burrowed underground.
It's burrowed into the ground. There is a concavity in the ground at the moment, similar to the ones that you can see on the beach around you. You can hear it burrowing underneath there. You're not sure where it's going to pop up, but you know it's going to move under there and pop up somewhere.
Can Halite stick his head in the hole?
Babe.
Oh
Babe.
my God.
It's not the time or the place,
no.
okay?
Picture for me, if you will,
Oh no.
a roughly 10-foot concavity into the ground, like somebody has punched a beach, and there is just a small hole in the ground. The center is sort of closing in. If you were to stick your head in there, first of all, you would have to push quite hard to push your head through the solid earth because you do not have a burrowing speed. Second of all, you would be blind.
No, would I?
And third of all,
Yes.
I have dark
'cause
vision.
it's sand.
Oh.
dark vision does not extend beyond
Physical matter.
just physical
Physics.
matter in front of your eyes. You do not have tremor sense. You do
Well,
not
I
have
thought there
burrow
would be
speed.
a hole. I thought there would be a hole.
It's
No.
sand. It collapses in
And
on
it
itself
collapses in on
immediately.
itself. And third of all, you can absolutely do this if you want to.
Halite is gonna do it.
Halite
Please don't.
jumps
Oh.
and sticks his head in the ground. Make me an athletics check to see how far you can burrow in. I'm gonna need a 20 to get close enough to this thing, but you can try and attack it with your teeth.
He's gonna full ostrich.
Yeah.
Athletics, I get advantage on that, and he's gonna take a big deep breath before he goes in.
Mm-hmm.
You're hanging around with too
That's
many
a natural
Australians.
20 for a 26.
You,
love my
as this
life.
thing is burrowing down, you've
Of all
just
the
made.
times,
No, you
isn't it?
can't make an attack of opportunity. But as you see behind you, Zeke is running towards you. Dewey is running towards you. You jump into the air and swan dive into the collapsing hole, and you can feel the flesh of this thing's like stubby tail in front of your teeth. You can make unarmed attacks. You have disadvantage because you are blinded, but I'm going to give you advantage because you rolled a natural 20, and we have a technical point here from Ben. What could possibly be wrong with this situation?
Just for the podcast listeners, because none of you got the visual sense, there are 7 people in this call, 6 of whom who had their head in their hands with that roll.
I'm elated.
I'm a kid.
Halite takes good care of his teeth.
Like for the first attack, you only have one attack at this level. You do not have advantage or disadvantage. It's a flat roll because you are blind, but also you absolutely fucking nailed the swan dive to be right. This thing's tail is practically in your mouth. You can make an unarmed attack, but you can add your Giant's Might bonus to this
Yes!
and
I
your strength.
feel this is why they call him the king of the pit.
This is the king of the mosh pit in action.
Instead of attacking it, can I bite down his tail as hard as I can and pull him up? He ain't going fucking nowhere.
Are you wanting to make a contested grapple check with your sodding teeth?
Yes! This man knocked down 2 of my friends. He ain't running nowhere.
Eventually, we will have some kind of, I'm hoping, fan art for this channel. And I'm really hoping that people come back to this episode and witness this moment. You can make that roll to, instead of making a normal attack, you make a grapple action as you attempt to grapple this thing back to the ground back up above ground with your teeth. Please make me your athletics check. It's going to attempt to do the same thing. Before you do make the check and tell me what it is, you have to beat.
Please tell me what it is.
Is it a 1? We passed it on.
Yeah, it's another natural one. You can't fumble rules that. You can't fumble rules that.
I'm not
That's too
fumble
good.
rulesing it.
I mean,
Halite
this-
also rolled terribly.
I am going to elect not to fumble rules that because technically it's an ability check which gives it a 5, but that's a
Wait, it's
natural 1.
disadvantage because Neri hexed it. Well, it's concentration. It's
It is disadvantage.
It is
She's
okay.
unconscious. She's unconscious.
She would have broken, yeah.
Yeah.
All the same, you grab this thing by the teeth, you plant hands on either side of the sand in front of you, and you pull it backwards. You guys watch as like a turtle kicking backwards with its back legs, as Halite pulls this thing up. Its head is still in the sand. It is no longer blinded because,
We wish it was.
but it has tremor
Traumatized
sense,
instead, yeah.
but it is grappled in the teeth of Halite. That is your action and your
Move.
That's just your
All of
action.
it.
That's everything. That's everything.
I'm going to say that's your everything unless you have something specific you had in mind.
I want to move it away from the unconscious Neri. Unconscious
Okay.
badger.
True, you do have your movement, so you grip your teeth. I'm going to say the standing leap took 10 feet, 20 feet while you're grappling, so you move it 10 foot away from Neri. I'm going to say that that's towards Dewey and Zeke, kind of that direction. Yeah. This is happening right now. You're watching this.
Babe,
As-
that
as
is so impressive. I'm
Zeke-
so
Have you?
impressed right now.
We have another
I'm slightly
possibly
aroused.
kind of technical point that we haven't.
Zeke has never been more scaroused in his life.
I'm slightly aroused by this situation also.
Its head
Zeke
is
is
just-
too.
its eyes wide as it's being yanked up and out of the ground again. Again, I'm not going to name it until somebody can identify this thing. It's not used to this. This is unusual.
No.
Strangely enough.
Can I identify it by its taste?
Oh my god.
Fucking Christ.
There is a chance. There is a chance you have eaten this thing before. I'm going to say
You're about
on
to.
a nature check,
Nature check.
and this has to be
Not survival, damn it.
no.
robbery.
No, I'm going to say this is a nature check because there's a chance you might have eaten this in one of the strange shots of Sarai. I'm going to say that this is an 18 DC nature check.
15.
15. You recognize the taste, but you cannot put a name to it.
It tastes good.
You've absolutely eaten this kind of thing before.
It reminds
Tastes
me of
like chicken.
home. It reminds me of home, guys.
What?
You try and say that, and what comes out is.
What is wrong with you?
Unless there is anything else, I think that's your turn.
Can I rage?
You
I
can
might- I-
rage.
I
Yeah,
might
you,
put
yeah,
this thing
you,
off.
you can rage in your giant form.
I'm like a dog. I'm just like shaking it in my mouth.
To bring things back down, Badger.
Hello.
Badger, you are unconscious and you are having consciousness fade. No, you're unconscious and you are having life fade from you. What do you remember in this moment? What aspect of your life, what moment flashes through your mind?
I don't think it's a moment. It's more of a very strong feeling that I'm not done. It's not. We're not finished. I cannot. This is not. It's not time yet. No.
Okay.
It's not time.
Make me a death saving throw.
That is a 4.
Oh, you might be done.
You strive and fight, and you feel like you are pushing against a river that is pushing you back. And you are fighting the current, but you are not winning. And you have one failed death saving throw.
Yes.
Diana.
Yeah.
You have seen Zeke rush up, you have seen them pull something and presumably flash you a thumbs up as though they have gotten taxes stable.
Am I able to deduce that that it has tremor sense?
Make
Also-
me a nature check.
I don't
I'm
think
going to say you have advantage because you have seen what Zeke
people
and
do
you
it.
have seen what Dewey are doing.
Natural 20, 23.
Hey!
Hey!
What
I
is
mean,
this
I
thing
don't.
called?
We don't
I
have
don't
a
have
stats
the-
thing yet, but can somebody please?
I
How
don't-
many natural
Yeah.
20s these guys rolled in the last seven natural 20s?
Good lord.
Okay.
I mean, I don't
not,
have.
Yeah, you know this thing has tremor sense because you know
yeah.
exactly what this fucking thing is. Because you have encountered one before. Like, these things
I
don't
think-
plague the area, but they are well known in the area that lies between Harling's Rest and Benilicia. This thing, commonly known as a land shark, is a bullet. It is a
Oh.
monstrosity that burrows under the ground, leaps from it, destroys its prey, and takes it back down to eat. It probably wasn't expecting so many of you because you guys were. There was 3 of them near the boat, and you guys were further away. It thought it was going to have an easy meal here. But the fact that it has tried to burrow underground means it is trying to think better about how to attack you guys. You know it's not very intelligent on a natural 20. You know it's not like it is strong. It bites people and it crushes people under its like bone hard carapace. Is how it likes to fight. The fact that it has been dragged out from underground by its teeth is probably panicking the fuck out of it right now.
Okay.
You also know that this one, looking at it, is a particularly strong one. This is probably a female, an elder, like not elder, but like a prime female specimen. You know that this one would have no mate. You know that this one would be alone, and that there's not anything else to worry about right now.
Oh god.
I
that's
dragged a
sad.
bullet up with
You
my
also
teeth.
know that it has tremor sense. It has a burrow speed. What else to give you? On a natural 20. You would know that if it was you guys at full strength fighting this thing, it would be easy if it wasn't on its own territory and it hadn't ambushed you like this.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's bloodied right now means it needs maybe 3 or 4 good hits from you guys before it's either running for its life or dead.
I dragged a bullet up with my teeth.
Yeah,
You did drag
babe,
a bullet
you
up
did.
from the ground with your teeth.
This is your Ozzy Osbourne bat.
That is
scenario,
your like
Yeah.
basically
flash of
like,
like, oh, I know what this
I'm-
fucking thing is as you go into your turn.
I'm gonna write a song about this because that was awesome.
That is, it's a song-worthy moment.
It was a song-worthy moment. So I'm really sorry. How far away is Halite with this
Halite
thing in its
is-
teeth?
Halite with this thing in its teeth is it's 40 foot away from you before you move.
Okay. I can see it though.
Yeah.
I can still see it.
You can see both of them.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. That's good. Good. Yes, no, that's good. Cool. And then I will do healing word on Badger.
Okay, Badger.
Right?
You
Yes.
Yeah. Roll your healing as Badger.
Healy.
As you feel like you are fighting this current that you cannot win against, there's a rush of a song that pulls you from the unconsciousness you are in back into life, and you wake up, sand covering your body, some of it in your lungs as you cough and splutter your way back to life.
Nice. Thank you.
Roll those points of healing, but that is your
yeah.
bonus action.
Yeah.
Split lick is going to be quickly after this before we go to taxes. So
I will just
taxes
do
is
the
stable and
one.
unconscious, and then it will be the creature's turn, and then Dewey. So that's the order of things for people to be preparing
No,
what they
I
want
rolled
to do.
like one of those weird ones with the numbers on the bottom, but that's fine. It's a 7, so it's max for me. Max. Healing.
7 points of healing to Badger.
Yeah.
Any action on your turn?
Yes, I would like. Oh. Yes. I don't have to hold it because it's a cantrip. I will do vicious mockery. I don't really have anything. What was the one that I found? You hideous, whore-blooded rat bag. That.
You scream slash
Shit.
slant to this thing. Is it charisma or wisdom
It's
saving
wisdom.
throw? I mean, +0.
Okay, that's what I was hoping for.
10.
Cool, that's a fail. Okay, so I'm level 5, so that's 2. Oh, why? There's 2 ones. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you. That's just a 2 damage, but it also has disadvantage on the next
on its
attack
next
roll.
attack. That is pretty fucking major.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Cool.
As Splitlick pulls out a couple of Tinker's tools, alters something in his pack, and then just holds it out as it's rumbling, and you launches some firebolts towards this thing. Is going to a jet of flame that is a firebolt. With his level, no, launches towards this thing, but just scatters against its bony carapace, like burning it and scarring it, but not actually hurting the creature that lies beneath the armor. You like hear this sort of grunt of frustration as they run up a further 30 foot, almost at an angle, coming closer towards Dewey, who's running towards the beach, as they not like right next to them, but trying to create this angle of sort of surrounding this thing rather than just running straight up to it. That is their turn. Taxes, you are unfortunately unconscious. You are stable, but you do not need to make any death saving throws.
RP it and do it like what she's imagining right
Yeah,
now.
of course.
So I like to imagine that she's in like a dreamlike state watching everyone on stage performing, and someone knocks into her with a drink, and where she's injured is where it's spilt on her, so she's like acknowledging it, but at the same time not fully understanding what's happened to it.
Yeah. There's just this like moment of everything is as normal here. But something's going on. Like it's a very groggy headspace, which you're not used to. The last time you were this drunk was probably back in just before you burnt that barge, trying the Kobold Moonshine for the first time. Just having a small pissing contest with Diana about who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you?
Who the fuck?
Might just became taxes and changed her name.
Yes. This bullet rounds on the creature that has got its tail in its jaws and launches towards it. And in that moment, recalls the fact that it's a fucking dirtbag.
It is. You're just a teenage dirtbag.
What would have been
baby.
What would have been on the natural first roll, a 25 to hit becomes a 14 with disadvantage.
No dice.
It slams against you and you rip out your hands while you have its tail in its mouth to hold its jaw open, unable to bite you. It is grappled, it cannot move, it has no option for a bonus action. That's its turn. As we come to Dewey, you see this bullet has its mouth being held open by a halite, who's like a hand on either side, full just like pushing the walls aside. What would you like to do?
And Halite's just mockingly just putting his head in and then taking it out, putting it out while I still have the map.
While you still have a tail in your mouth.
In that case, going in and then a bit of hesitation, like keep your head out, and then and then I will stab it in the mouth.
You reach forward and stab it in the mouth. Go for it.
Oh yeah, it's do I have advantage on
I
this?
don't think it'll grapple. It's not restrained. It's grappled.
Yeah, I don't believe you got advantage on it.
I have advantage because like how it's putting his head in, and oh no,
We lost
Hold
our
up.
DM.
our DM has disappeared again. Is he coming back? Is
Well, while he's gone, I can get the grapple rules.
And I'm back.
Oh wait, no, I don't have advantage. So
Grapple
that...
Zero
Oh no,
benefit.
that is. Oh, Pidge, settle down there.
No, you're
Pinch
yeah. No advantage, I believe, from grapple.
Yeah, no, so that
I've
is
played enough D&D in my time to know this.
19, so that should be good.
19 still hits this thing.
Okay, I will, and in doing that, every orifice gets a bird's beak in it. As I will do the same again. I've got the extra D4 for the marking that it's been done, and I will use the extra dice of damage from the swarm as well.
Okay.
Oh, hello. 18 points of damage.
18 points of damage as you just look. Is this your short bow?
No, that was I've got the two short swords. So...
Short swords. As you rush up and reclose the distance after stomping away from this thing, launch in with the short swords, and a flurry of feathers just surround you, going into every nook of this thing's bony armor, and just pecking and trying to damage this thing where they can. This thing is looking hurt now.
Oh shit!
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna use the offhand as well. I think it's probably better than anything else. 8. No.
8, unfortunately. Yeah, you try and round it, but you're trying to avoid the birds. You're trying to avoid halite as well. You end up like glancing the armor, which sort of almost sparks against your sword. Unnaturally hard. This thing is monstrous in its nature. But monstrosities are something you know well as you continue to slash and fight at it. As we come to Zeke. Zeke, this thing is, I believe, about 20 foot in front of you.
And I am just going to run up and I am going to attempt to just wail on this thing.
Yeah, you run up. Based on where you're standing, you use Halite as a launch pad ramp kind of thing as you
Sick.
run up their back and begin launching your attacks with your fists in the air.
Cool. So first attack.
Before you launch your attack,
Yeah.
at the end of its turn, I would have had the ability to do something. Has that turn passed? Because I forgot to say when it ended its turn, or can I do it?
Yeah,
now?
the end of its turn was just before Dewey's turn. What was the thing, quickly?
Once a creature ends its turn with 30 feet in my area, I can use my reaction to flash a giant rune, stone giant rune, for example.
Yes, you can.
Do you know what it does, or should I explain?
I do know what this does. You flash. What is it on? What have you carved this onto?
So this is just on a rock. That is a rock he had before readying. He quickly freaks out of his pocket. The rune flashes and then appears on its forehead, and then disappears on the rock and appears on his forehead.
You flash the stone giant rune, invoking the dream that stone giants often find themselves lost in, as this thing tries to look away but physically cannot as you are holding its jaws.
Please roll a DC 13 Wisdom saving throw.
It does succeed on that, however, with a 15 plus 0, as you try and disappear its mind into the dream, and it manages to just about focus on trying to eat you, which is its main goal in life right now.
The rune disappears on his forehead, and Zeke does not get advantage on his attacks.
No. Good.
That's fine.
Good idea, though. Very good idea.
Zeke has a minor heart palpitation hearing that Halite is going to flash.
Oh, flash it! Oh.
Yeah, still tail, mouth, hand on the jaw. It is eating you while you are eating it. It is a strange Ouroboros situation.
Excuse
going on.
you? Sorry, can you say that again?
I don't need to, and you know why. There's already enough.
it was okay.
So I imagine that I'm rolling with advantage because obviously I am now flanking this thing.
There is nothing on the other side of this thing.
Dewey is.
Oh, if Dewey moved into a flanking position, I'm going to say, you know what, in the position it's in, flanked, yes, I'm going to say that you have advantage.
Cool. So that's 21 to hit with the first one.
Definitely hits.
That's the full 9 points of damage.
Okay. Just slamming into this thing's bony plate, cracking underneath your fist.
Roll my second attack, which is a 23 to hit.
Definitely hits.
Which is 5 points of damage. And then I'm going to use another key point for Flurry of Blows. Because I'm just going to wail on this thing.
Yeah, this thing is in an awkward position, and you are taking full advantage of that, just Drunken Master style, like slam, slam, and slam as you are going for
16 you said doesn't hit, doesn't it?
16 is unfortunately 1 point below its AC.
That's fine. And final hit is a 21 to hit.
Yeah.
Which is only 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. That one that doesn't hit, you bring your elbow down as you sort of drunkenly stumble and slam. It doesn't work, so you lift up the elbow again and slam and break through the plate, causing like a concavity in the shell as you punch through it with your elbow.
Essentially just repeatedly wailing on like the overlapping creatine plates, trying to basically force the plate to open. So there's a nice open spot for Zeke to be able to stab his fingers into. Exactly.
And as this is happening, as you are slamming on top of this thing, having had a gnome halfling just jump off of your back, Halite, it is your turn. You are currently in this position here. You can willingly drop your arms. It's not going to get an attack on you. That was just sort of thematic for how you blocked its attack.
No, I think Hal's going to do the opposite, actually. He's going to extend his arms even further. Try to split this thing in half.
Okay, I'm going to make this an athletics check. It's going to have advantage because it's claws, which is its most powerful muscle. You have advantage because you are in giant form.
Because my arms are my most powerful muscle, I understand as well.
Yes.
I would like to also note, Halite is a well-built. I can't remember what it's actually called. Where's my race? He's hench.
Powerful
he's
build.
He's a powerful build, so he counts as one size larger. So currently, he counts as a huge size because he's currently large. So now he's huge.
I'm gonna adjust some things in the background, but at the same time, roll your athletics check with advantage. He's going to do the same. She is a bullet. You have to beat a 22.
No dice. 12.
12. You are trying to push this thing with giant might, but you are trying. It's like trying to fight a crocodile who's got their jaws clamped down on you. If anything, you start losing ground slowly as the jaws are beginning to push in on you. Not enough that it's like anything near like trapping you in this space, but it is getting smaller and smaller within the mouth of this creature. That is your action. Any bonus or movement if you wish to try and drag this thing with your teeth?
I love that. I guess I'll just use my movement again to go further away from the unconscious badger. Not unconscious badger. The unconscious. So I'll move closer. So if this is the line and Highlight is over here, and Badger is here, I'll move like in this direction.
Okay.
So we're going around Badger, but away from the currently still unconscious person.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
We are going to go then to Badger, who you are prone. Life rolls back into you. You breathe. There is like a little bit of sand in your lungs. But you are alive. You are very much alive.
Yeah. How does this work? Can I use my movement to stand up again?
Half your movement, so you have 15 foot left as you get back onto your feet.
Cool. Good me would have run towards taxes at this point. I'm not good today. So I am gonna cast Scorching Ray as a 3rd level spell on the fucker.
Yeah, we respect the Scorching Ray.
I'm angry. That fucker smushed me. Okay, I'm mush it.
You call to the wildfire, the burning, the righteous burning, which has become a theme for this group. And you launch Scorching Rays towards this thing. Make your attack rolls. I believe there's 3 attack rolls for 3 rays, unless you're up.
+1 because I'm throwing it as a 3rd level spell.
Nice.
So I have 4 total. And I have +7 to attack. The first one is a 14 +7. That is 21.
Hits. Okay, we'll count the hits and then we'll work out the damage afterwards.
The second one is 19 +7, so that is
Hits.
26. The third one is 12 +7, which
Hits.
is 19. And the fourth one is natural 20 +7, which is 27.
So I believe
one of
each of
those
these does
things dead.
2d6, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
my god.
Yes,
You do
2d6
4
damage.
plus a crit, which makes this 10d6.
Should I roll them all?
Yes.
Highlight. Do you like your bullets well done?
Just like Mama used to make.
Okay, wait, I roll all 10 of them then.
Roll 10d6 or roll a d6 10 times, or
Wait, let me see. Okay, that is 6 of them +4. I have 10 exactly, so that's perfect.
fantastic.
Oh shit, now I have to do math. That is 2 6s, 4 6s, that is 24. Plus 2 3s, that is 30 total. 35, 39, 40, exactly 40. Ironically enough.
Wow.
Badger, Neri, for the first time in this campaign, tell me how this happens.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just angry. Okay, she's literally just launching the shit at it.
Yeah.
Furious.
You stand up from prone, you scream with puka magic as the natural fire of the world burns around you, as 3 beams launch towards it, and the 4th is just from your mouth as fire enroils this thing. as like you hear a scream gushing out towards you, Halite, like pushing your hair back,
What
as
the
this thing
hell?
is roasted in its own carapace and drops to the ground onto its back, dead. We are out of initiative. Everyone is stable, or yeah, everyone is at least stable as we drop out of initiative at this point. Fuck yes. Point from Bree.
As soon as that happens, then healing word on taxes.
Yeah, you run forward,
comes
healing
back.
word, taxes again. There's sort of like a bit of sand in your lungs from being dragged around the speech. But you're coughing it free and it's fine.
Again, you get 7 points.
Thank
of
you.
healing.
I mean, I would
Doran.
be thank you, but I'd be screaming. But
Yeah.
thank you.
Doran.
Carry on.
Yep, sorry.
I'll be there next to you when you wake up and be like, it's okay.
It's not okay. It's not
We're in a
okay.
cave
It's
or
not
something.
okay.
It's everything is fine. You were alive. Everyone's alive. You still alive, baby? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Everyone's alive. That's fine.
Yeah, Halite in the jaws of his fingers and he's like slammed onto the ground.
Halite's gonna bite down and finish his chunk that he was working on. Ugh. Thanks, Badger. It's just like Mum used to make. Delicious. And he
That's
just
what I'm
goes for he bites again. He goes for another bite.
Oh wow. I guess we have breakfast now. Looking
We've-
outside.
We've got supper, breakfast there.
I'll take it to the cave.
Ah,
Yeah.
there's
Does
someone,
anybody
someone
have a passive perception higher than 15?
there. Yes.
Okay.
No. Yeah, wait. No, I don't.
I'm not used to it, but
Um,
no.
I have 14.
I'm exactly.
Dewey,
50.
as you're watching this, like the victory, like surrounding it, you look to near the sand dunes that are really sort of near the left cliff edge, and you see there is a tall-eared fox that is watching you all intently. Not just like a natural, oh, it's just passing by. This thing is staring at you all.
Okay. All right then. First up, I'll look to Badger and be like, for someone so rooted in the natural world, that was really fucking metal. And then I'll go. We're I think we got our first fan. And I'll cast Speak with Animals. And like sort of look towards it and go, hey there, in fox.
Okay, as you say hey there, this thing goes, and you guys all turn to look at this thing, and the eyes go wide, realizing it's being spotted.
Oh,
Don't
And
worry.
message.
panic.
Disappears in a flash of, not even a flash of smoke, it just
Oh, it just.
puffs out of existence.
Can I
You
not have
all
messaged it,
notice?
though? Damn.
You all notice in that moment a shuffle off to the left-hand side of the cliffs, as a figure darts out of your peripheral vision, roughly halfway along that left-hand side of the cliff.
Can I
It
It was
all
like
fox.
somebody was clearly watching and was watching very stealthily, but in that moment they were spooked and quickly ducked under, and you guys all notice as they disappear.
We all
Okay.
notice? Okay.
message them?
Yeah, you point in that direction. You can message as you sort of strum. No, you're a singer, so you pull the copper wire. Tell me how it happens. Like there's a copper wire to this component in some way.
Yeah, I saw because last time we said it was the copper wire on my guitar, so
Yes,
I'm still
yes,
holding
yeah.
it, so I'll be like, hey.
Yeah, you
Holding
just
up
strum
like
it to
a
create this
phone.
vibration that carries your voice across the way.
Hey, wait, we're friendly. If you're not a land shark, come say hi.
You hear no response.
Halite is running 60 feet, all giant might of him running towards the direction.
Okay, Halite bolts in that direction as you guys presumably follow in some capacity.
And you
Um,
think you hear a bark from Halite.
I am sat with taxes.
I
I'm just,
also
I'm,
want
I'm
to
just kind of
sit
watching this
down.
happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 minutes. I want to sit down and I want to play my guitar and I want to drink And I want some of this thing that we've just killed, and
The second you request a drink, he just hands you a bottle.
Oh, yeah.
And Badger as well. Badger, like, you are watching this
Thank you.
roasted corpse in front of you. What do you do?
I will now turn to Taxus, and I would like to cast Healing Word. Yes, Healing Word.
Okay.
I will, which means it requires touch. So I will touch if it's okay. Yes,
I'm giving you consent.
No, awake.
That's what I
She is
wanted.
conscious now. It's all good.
Yes.
As the rest of the party just take like 10 seconds, Halite does not and rushes to this area. Closing with this cliff and getting to the side, Halite, you see that there is a staircase built into the side of a cliff face that is sort of shrouded by bits of shrubbery along the growth of it. It would be nearly impossible to spot this from the beach, from any angle apart from what you're standing at now.
Did I see the figure go up?
You see a flash of a cloak rounding a corner, what you would spot as a kind of small creature that is flashing, but you see this sort of small hempen cloak flash around a corner before it is gone from view.
Highlight shrinks back down and then climbs up the stairs.
Okay, you guys watch as Halite disappears into the cliff face, occasionally getting a flash of their head on what you now realize is a staircase built there, or sort of a mixture of like natural staircase or natural ramping, and manufactured staircase, as you guys are all just taking 5 and deservedly so.
Message Hal, like, what's going on, baby? Just gonna grab a drink, okay?
We're up, babe. I'll catch you in 5.
Alright, okay.
Yes.
Don't die.
Breathing.
Taxus, you heal 9 hit points of
Yeah,
healing.
thank you.
As you dash up there, Halite, after this guy, just keeping, like, you are athletic, you have a good sprint. You run up and turn the corner, and on the top of this cliff, obscured from the bottom, you can see this small... Well, it's not that small, it's a medium-sized building, a kind of... not driftwood so much as just old wood shack that sits atop this cliff, and you just see the door slam as the robed figure disappears inside of it.
I go to the door. I stop.
Okay.
Wait,
Knock
knock?
on the door.
Yep.
You knock on the door.
So polite.
You hear...
Highlight wasn't raised in a barn. He learnt manners.
Okay, you hear a muffled "damn it" as you hear movement towards the door, and the door opens, and a figure that is not as tall as you, but a good 6 foot. You're sure when they're tall, but now down to like 5.5 at a stoop. You see an elderly gentleman with long grey hair that is not quite matted so much as tangled around their ears. Human, male, looking up towards you with a weathered, wrinkled face, looking up towards you, standing taller than the doorway is, and looks up at you and goes, "Yes?
Did you summon that thing?
Did we what?
The
Did I
taste,
what?
the tasty thing on the beach. Did you summon it?
I don't know what you're talking about. You've got the wrong house." And he closes the door.
You got the wrong house. Not today, thank you. I don't want to buy anything.
Stupid. Someone should have
You
gone
knock
with
the door again. He opens it. What? I told you I... What? What do you want?
Can you come with me, please?
Why should I come with you? Are you Empire? Are you Osland's men? No, I didn't think so. So I have no
trying to think.
obligation to go anywhere with you. And I won't.
That means you're not Osnard men either.
I'm a citizen of the Empire.
Your house is built into a rock. Very, very secretive rock.
Secretive from the river. But he points out and like, there's nothing much obscuring it from the land. But as you sort of say that, he says, "But you came up." For a moment, he turns his head. Make an insight check.
Hi, is good at this. Well, he's not, but he gets advantage.
He does.
That's an 11.
There is an expression of anger, but almost loving anger on his face. Like an angry parent as he turns his head away from you and towards the rest of the room, but manages to correct himself in time before actually looking in a specific direction.
Oh, is someone else in there?
No, there's no one else in here. I live alone.
Did they summon the tasty thing on the beach?
He comes up to you. He is a good, like, he goes to his full height, which is still 2 foot less than you. He grabs your chin and he says, "I live alone."
Oh, all right.
He gives a quick slap to the side of your face and closes the door.
Can I put my foot in the door?
Yes, you can. As you like a poof, and see like.
I just want to know where would you be chilling at the bottom of the beach if you want to say anything, speak. All right. Cheers. And he just turns around and leaves.
As you turn around and leave, you hear the sound of shouting behind you, and you make out, "Fatty, what did I tell you?"
And he says, like, to the door, like, "Oh yeah, and if you're not Empire, the Empire might be looking around this area, so be warned, all right?"
At that, he slams open the door.
Oh,
what do you mean?
Well, we're not best liked, so that they're looking for us, and we've taken refuge at the bottom of the hill.
You get your friends, you bring them here now. You hide any trace, you hear me?
Yeah, yes, sir. Let's turn around.
Yeah.
So he gets a feeling of like his mother once talking to him. He's like, "Oh, yes, ma'am."
You guys see like sprinting down his head, like popping up above the secret staircase.
He's sweating
as he's going. You've had like you've had like 10 minutes maybe.
You never really seen Halite scared before.
Halite brought up to respect
scared.
his elders.
I don't think you have. I don't think Halite's ever really shown fear. He's only ever shown fear to one
different
person.
kind of fear.
Different kind of fear. It's fear when Diana went down.
Oh yeah. Well, it was not. It was
But
not
then I
really
didn't see
fear.
that.
Well, that's a different kind of fear again.
Girl.
Oh, yeah, even so, you've never seen him being scared, because you were unconscious. Yeah. But like he's sweating, he's like slightly pale. We have to go up top.
Wait, what? What
Mum,
was it?
Did you find someone?
Mum, I mean, this man.
Sorry, who?
This man wants to see us.
Who did you say? What? No, a man?
No, this man, yeah.
Okay.
He's an old guy.
Mommy, sorry. Mommy.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay, cool.
You get the idea. Halite and his mum he's scared of his mum a little bit.
Yeah. Right. Now?
We have to clean up a bit down here first, though.
Clean up a bit?
As in all the footprints and the hole and that giant tasty thing.
Okay, did we actually get the rider into the cave?
Yes, it is disguised in the cave. Yeah. It is that sorted. There's like signs of a battle here, the main thing being the bullet. That's not a quick fix. It's something you can drag around a corner so it's not visible from the river.
Can we put it in the cave with the?
You can put it in the cave next to the rapid rider. Absolutely. Yeah.
How camouflaged is the bullet's hide?
It's fairly sandstone colored, to be fair. So if you put it like sort of river facing, it provides an even more of a natural camouflage to the rapid rider. As you put it, yeah.
He
put
puts
the
it in the
sand
doorway.
over the
It's
top.
stop- It stopped
Yeah.
smoking now. Then yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, the sizzling has ceased.
I'll eat you later.
was it? Was
We need to
was
get
was this tasty? Like
Oh, it's delicious. You should try it.
I'll cut a big chunk out of it. Then.
It's
Yeah.
So
enough,
the black, see that black
steaks.
bit there? Delicious.
it's enough
Yeah,
steaks
I'll-
for all of us there. I
Highlight
think.
points to a really charred bit. That bit delicious, just like Mum used to make.
I'll carve myself a chunk.
Yeah.
Just yourself? You're not gonna feed anyone else. Cool.
I feel after this encounter I've turned
Right, no. I mean, as in, like, I will cut enough to
Alright.
cook us a meal, including like a couple extra.
You can't carry as much as Hal I can eat.
To feed
Zeke
us
is straight
and
up
give
just
you a
staring
snack.
at it, just like,
To speed things along, you guys cut a reasonable amount of food off of the bullet. You cover your tracks enough, and unless anybody wishes to do anything else, Halite shows you the staircase.
This way.
Alright.
Okay.
Highlight takes a deep breath. He's gonna second wind himself.
Okay.
He gets 6 hit
you
points.
guys all see it's a mixture of driftwood and sort of old, just weathered timber that makes up this shack. It looks like it keeps out the rain well enough. It was built by somebody who knew what they were doing with resources not very sparing. But there is a doorway, and as you guys are approaching, making no real effort to disguise your noise, as there are 7 of you, including Splitlick, the doorway opens and you all see this man with the sort of weathered grey hair pushed behind their ears, this wrinkled face and these piercing blue eyes staring at you all, very clearly human, just in now.
This is the old dude.
Okay. I am way too tired to give a shit who this person
Good.
is right now. So I'm gonna go with.
We don't mean you any harm.
And if you guys make your way in, you see that this is like a single room, maybe a couple of roomed shack. Zeke, you are looking around this place.
no, Sarah, of course, was.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yes, Sarah was trying to get your attention.
Sorry, I was going top left of my screen and I'm working it down.
It's okay.
Yes, Sarah.
I was gonna say, I would have my hood up completely. This is a stranger. They're not seeing my face.
Yeah,
Fair
can I
enough.
say, before that, can I disguise self? That's a
Yeah,
really good,
absolutely.
good. I'm tired, but I'm not, stupid. I was stupid.
And Ben?
I don't want to go in. I would like to park myself outside, somewhere hidden behind a rock, because I'm not particularly big, and I'm going to start making more Molotovs, if that's okay. Making
Okay.
Molotovs inside there is a bad idea, because it's made of driftwood.
Yes. Make me a perception check as you do that. Natural 1.
Natural 1.
Okay.
Natural
You
1.
don't. Yeah, you are just.
I get
intent
sand in
on
my
your-
eyes, just... Ah!
You are intent on your work
Sand!
and pay attention to nothing else in this moment. As the rest of you enter the building, this human figure commands you all to sit on an assortment of chairs that are roughly human size. There is a table that will take Halite. As you are all standing, well, no, you're all sitting in front of him, who is standing in front of you. The Empire is looking for you.
Yeah,
Technically, yeah.
we're not working right now, so of course they are.
As an aside, I will make myself look like a human, not exactly the same, but very, very similar to Taxes.
Okay.
We are twins.
Twinsies.
Twinsies, so I'm a human.
So you're not taxes, you're death.
I am Jack, yeah.
Definitely.
So good.
that so much.
He looks you all up and down and seems to just shake his head and goes, once again, even feels fit to shit at my doorstep.
You, sir, are clearly hiding. Are you not? Why are you? Why are
I
you
am
here?
not hiding. The boy is hiding.
You do have someone here. You lied.
Yeah, babe. Some people do that. Okay.
Okay.
Why? Why?
Why?
Do we see
what,
this boy?
What do you mean?
Why? Fede! And you see this cloaked figure shuffle out from behind a corner. And a cowl comes up, and you see that they have quite large eyes and pointed ears and little bits of their teeth are all have a little bit of sharpness to them.
Oh.
Anybody can make me a
You-
nature or arcana check here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm
God,
bad at both.
Ooh.
I'm very
soft 20.
proficient. I have.
No,
I have
21.
10.
21 for Arcana.
9.
Anybody who gets a 15 or higher,
Natural 20.
nice. You would know that
Druid.
this child has some kind of goblinoid heritage in their veins at a guess, and if you get above a 20, you are sure that they are half goblin, half human.
Whoa.
That's so cute, though.
That is why.
That is so cute.
Hey, buddy.
They
Okay.
boil.
Did you summon that tasty thing?
What?
Shaking their head aggressively. Like,
Hey,
Alright.
bud.
Alex just drops everything. He's calm now.
I'm sure.
you see with a poof of green magic, this long-eared fox jumps from a window and then into Fede's arms as they are then just holding them tight like a teddy bear.
Whoa, that is awesome. What is that? That's no normal fox.
It's the boy's familiar.
I'll look at the
May?
kid.
He is
and be-
supposed to only travel through its eyes.
You.
I'll look at the kids and just be like, "Hey, has it got a name?
Bodhi.
Buddy?
Bodhi.
Bodhi. Bodhi.
Alright.
Oh.
I love Bodhi.
I love both
Are
of
you
them.
are you a mage, buddy?
The boy has some connection to nature.
We some of us do too.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You're a druid of the old ways?
Yes. I want to. May I take a flower out of my flower crown and give it to the child?
He looks to the older man for almost like permission, and with a sort of eyes turned sideways, like, yeah, I suppose, he happily takes the flower and just holds it in one hand with Bodhi in the other.
Yay! Friendship.
So, same question. I will look at the man. Why are you here? Why are you here?
There's a deep sigh. I am here because it is a safe place to be, and it has been for a while. I am here because I came looking for someone and I did not find them. And by the time I wanted to leave, I was an Empire citizen and had no choice in the matter. I'm here because my grandson found me and it is the safest place to keep him.
Grandson.
So let me ask in return, why are you here?
We're just passing through.
We're passing through. How
Hmm.
long do you have? Before we answer that question, we need to cook these steaks and sit down and have a drink.
taxes and
Yeah.
halite. I think we had points of order. Let's go
Taxes
taxes
first.
Yeah.
So
Taxes
I'm not
first.
saying anything, but I want to do insight checks for the conversation because, again, strangers, he could be lying. He's probably not, but he could be.
I'm
Make
glad
an
you went
insight check.
first.
That's a 23.
23. From what you can tell of this man, he is genuine. He has just gone from an adrenaline high of like, oh shit, there are people knocking on my door, like, hide the kid, caution, to there has never been a bunch of people who I so quickly believe are not with the Empire because look at them.
We cannot possibly be. Look at all of this. Bunch of losers. Yeah.
You see he looks eyes with you, Diana, and says, take off a magic disguise, it's ridiculous. Doran, you are speaking next.
Yeah, we just stashed our ride in like the cave bit, like in your garage. So that's
You're
kind of
right.
what we...
You have a boat.
We do. It's pretty much
Yeah.
out of power, though.
It is a boat.
Kinda.
Yes, it's a boat.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
boat.
Yeah,
It's a boat, Hal. It's a boat.
Yeah. What else?
Yeah.
It goes in water. What else would we call it?
Yeah, it's a boat. And I'll
You
quite
can't really
happily
go-
roll deception and just tell everyone to shut up that it's a boat.
Halite doesn't believe. Halite
No, I
Halite
know,
is telling the
babe.
truth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but it's a
boat.
boat.
I'll just take this as us
well.
moving forward. He says, well, the creature destroyed mine, but I won't ask you for yours. I've been able to fish off the cliff enough to keep us both going, but I can't keep it like that forever.
I mean, good news, the creature's dead.
Yeah, and we'll supply you with like a week's worth of food while you
They taste lush.
while you
It's
work on fixing the
delicious.
boat.
It will take some time, but I can do it.
Oh.
You are incredibly unusual.
Thanks!
Yes,
Absolutely. Yeah. I
that
will
is.
drop the disguise.
Good.
It would not have fooled. I mean, it would have fooled the guards. So it's just a precaution, you know.
I'm not the guards, girl.
I can see that. Yes.
What were you before you became the boys' charge?
I was and am a fisherman. I've always been a fisherman.
Insight check.
Make an insight check.
I'm looking right at him as well, so I'm using the ability that you elves have, where they have got a natural affinity with this kind of thing. But it doesn't matter because I rolled an 8 and a 2, so who cares?
You've got pluses
You-
though.
I do. That is a still shit.
It's contested.
He seems very genuine in what he's saying to you. This is at the very least a truth he believes about himself. He is a fisherman. He has always been a fisherman. But you are looking not just at him and the surroundings in here with you. You can see there is not much filling this place. There are a couple of straw beds, one clearly for himself and one for Fede that is sort of hidden around a corner. You can see that amongst the strange stuff around here, there is a rusted sword overlying the fireplace. It looks like it could have been once quite elegant, but now is just pockmarked and rusted, as though it has seen age without use. You, Puka, the Badger Puka, will see that hanging above the doorway at the back is a horseshoe, and there is a bad vibe you get off of it. Nobody else notices. Like they see the horseshoe, but you just feel a familiar vibe off this thing. This thing is cold iron. This thing, it hurts to look at as a fae, You think touching it, not like physically hurt you, but would... It's like the sound of chalk down a chalkboard, or fingernails down a chalkboard, to look at this thing for you. Ignoring it, you're aware that it's there at all times, but it's not... If you don't look at it, it's not as bad. If you think touching it would be agony. And the last thing with this strange fisherman's hut, I'm going to ask Zeke, as he finishes his last Molotov, to make another perception check.
Oh my god.
As a gust of wind blows through the air.
Sick. Let's see whether I actually see the thing that's coming to kill us, apparently. That's a 19.
As a gust of wind blows from the air, all of you hear a faint jingling. As you turn to look at where this noise is coming from, Zeke, you see a chain of rings that has been threaded together to create a sort of a wind chime with small fishing lures put onto it to create a sort of jangling in the wind. And with a 19, you know exactly what these rings are. They are not just jewelry. Each of these rings is one that was used to close an indent mark. And you can only think one way a fisherman might have got them, by dragging them up from the sea. Well, not from the sea, but from the river below. And as this jangle of chimes and faint temporary trust sets in, we are going to leave the Rapid Riders here for this week, as they are in the shack of the fishermen atop the cliffs of a river yacht. Safe for now.
Yeah.
For now. Oh no.
Hiding in Shrek's shack, like human
Yeah.
Shrek's shack.
We got friends.
Yay!
We have a something.
You guys are going to spend a long rest here, and we
Oh
can
my god.
interact that the next time if there's something you would like to do during that long rest. And the other important thing to note here is you guys are now level 6.
What?
I have to have a conversation with you, Sam.
Yes, yes, I think you will probably will at some point.
Yes, definitely some like roleplay and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. We will come back into that next time. But for now, that is all for this week. As the
That's
Rapid Riders
exciting.
have fought off a bullet, have secured Project Rapid Rider.
I got the keys.
You have the keys, and are being provided safe harbor by this strange fisherman with his even stranger grandson in these very
Yeah.
strange
Yeah.
times. We will pick
Very
this up
strange.
next week.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
Thank you
Yes,
for
thank
watching.
you again, everyone.
See you next week.
Goodbye.
That's awesome.
Bye.